Welcome to 155, a podcast about a punk song.
We did it. We've literally we're 75%. What is that? A C? I mean, that's good. We could skip this one.
75%.
Is that a B? I don't know.
Letter grade. 75 is a C. That's pretty good. Yeah. I mean, once again, I really, I feel like we got to do some real revisions to education, and I'm glad we are thought leaders in that space.
I think the problem with
Decline episodes.
The problem with education is it's really become a gradiocracy. You know?
Oh, wow! It's amazing to think that we've still got it after all these weeks,
after all these years, really.
Who are you? I said my name, I think.
I don't think you did. I interrupted you so quickly.
I'm Sam Sutherland.
Now, what's that guy?
That's like, in my mind, that's like a fifth member of NOFX. Like,
I just
Marvin.
realized something. You also took an L with your abbreviation of your name because your name is Samuel.
Oh shit! Yeah, it's all coming together.
UL.
I'm cutting the L. I'm moiling the L.
And my name is Josiah Hughes, and this is my main thing that I do with my life is this show. So when you're listening, just keep in mind this is one person in their late 30s main task of their life.
I did get a message from a friend who I think sort of I guess knows you more through like the pod than anything else. They were like, so is Josiah's like full-time job just podcasting now? And I was like, in a way. Depends on how you would define
what is a job.
I mean, full-time, yes. Job.
Is it a financial number? I mean, we can write a number on a piece of paper, and it wouldn't take me very long to write that number because it's so few digits of how much money I'm making.
I mean, they do say, do something that you find somewhat excruciating and you will never work a day in your life.
Right. Is that the thing? I thought it was get debt is the thing. That
They do. They say get debt. I feel like that would be a cool shirt.
Get debt.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking would be a cool name for like a Scrams band is Lorem Ipsum. Like the placeholder.
Oh, that is
text.
good. I do. I really like that a lot.
Seems like
actually.
Because all those bands have fucking names like that. I'm surprised it hasn't been taken already. Maybe it has. I haven't checked.
Have you tried? Hold on, loremipsum.bandcamp.com.
Lorem Ipsum Trio, Vivre Encore, and they also
a literary written okay. Lorem Ipsum is a literary written experiment in poetry and digital culture genres, mainly mashup. A mashup is capitalized. The author, Tomer Lishtan, is an Israeli, I said that not very Israeli, is an Israeli writer and developer making internet stuff in his web studio, Concepts.
Well, even better, fitting with what I said, the Lorem Ipsum Trio is a French Scrams band. So I actually called it. Yeah, and their album Vivre Encore has the album cover that I would exactly imagine a French Scrams band would have.
Yeah, big time, eh? Can we is there any of this on YouTube? Can we maybe listen to this? Because I feel like you have made that joke before, right?
Oh, no, really? We're never going to stop hearing about this.
Another classic repeat. Okay, yeah, here we go. I got the full album going here, so let's...
Okay, you throw that in and watch together? Are you... Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm still here. I'm still watching.
You should
maybe we should do the whole pod while having this playing in one window and then having the Decline playing... Oh.
Wait, this isn't what I expected.
Scrams is different. The French are fucking weird, man.
Maybe it said Screamo, not Scrams. Maybe it's chamber classical / Screamo. Oh my god, I hope someone else said it's Baroque Screamo, but not in a gimmicky way. Come on, as if.
Their tags are acoustic, French Screamo, acoustic Screamo, Baroque, French emo, neoclassical, post-rock, post-Screamo, Screamo, and Lyle, which is definitely some sort of French thing.
That's a place in France, right?
Maybe. Okay. Honestly, there is no good French music. That's definitive.
You know, like Daft Punk or Phoenix.
Yeah, but they're not French, and Phoenix are different.
Well, no one else likes. Oh my God! No.
Fuck yeah!
Come on. Imagine.
Should we skip ahead?
Some fucking nerd got this band to play at their wedding.
Oh yeah. I just want to know if like they really stick with this.
Oh my God.
Oh. Maybe this is the first good French band.
What about Air? Moon Safari. Mostly like electronic stuff is cool in France. Justice.
Yeah, that's true. That's the only thing they're good at is computer.
This is the most upsetting thing I've ever heard. So before we can continue the episode, we do have to, of course, revisit the complaint department. And I've got some special complaint department music for this week. It's more of an instructional video to get us into the mood.
Hi. Today I'm going to teach you how to do a baby crying sound. First of all, we're going to do a little bit of sirening. This technique will help. So what you want to do is very quietly go.
No, I'm engaged.
Now, that helps warm up your vocal cords a little bit. Yeah, you would hate to do this. It's also useful whilst going through the technique in terms of escalating. Do you think
British people have different vocal cords?
Sound which comes out.
Like it uses different areas of it or something?
Now
I think it's like, one of those things where, when people are talking about how racism is bad, they'll be like, there's actually more of a genetic difference between like a American person and a British person than between a white person and a black person.
Up at the top of your mouth, like so. Like that. Like that. And you're going to make a sound. And what you want to do is you want to take that sound and you want to just make it a little bit harsher, so like that. Like that. So it's a very annoying sort of sound, so. And then what you do is you just move your throat
it's hard to do
and do a bit of facial expressions, and you should be able to cry like a baby.
Wow, this guy is really good at crying like a baby.
Well, I hope that's been helpful to you. Have a nice day.
That guy's zany as fuck. So today's complaint department actually comes from our own Sam Sutherland. Apparently, has.
Well, no, I don't have the complaint, but the complaint was made to me.
Okay.
And I can't imagine that video or anything that's happened in the intervening weeks have done anything to temper the strong emotions elicited by this complainant. This, of course, comes from friend of the pod, Nicole Villeneuve, saying that
here we go. Karen Villeneuve herself.
Yeah. The baby crying in the new complaint department segment of the pod is very triggering to parents, and you should add a content warning.
Oh, okay. Well, then in that case, retroactively, if you are a new parent, there is a content warning for all of the baby crying on the pod in the last month.
Yep, we all agree.
To cry baby.
That's so gross.
It was, but next time I need to cry like a baby, I'm going to return to this.
I don't think he made it seem so easy, but that was pretty impressive. Like, I don't think I could just do that.
No, I think you'd have to. He's obviously had some practice.
Yeah, that guy knew what was up. Okay, so I do think in the opening segment, before we get back into the decline, let's listen to this screamo chamber music in the background. It's just so classy. Because actually, what I wanted to do this week for the kind of the preamble, we haven't really done as much sort of snooty highbrow analysis of the decline as I would have hoped this month. It's kind of the one thing that's been missing. Of course, we're handling the vibe-based, and in our new sort of reformed education society, I think it will mostly be vibe-based rather than a gradiocracy, as we've decided. But I did find some like essays and some think pieces about the decline that maybe we could dig into real quick.
Oh, yes. Let's dig.
So the first one comes from, of course, my favorite website, antiimperialism.org. This was posted...
Oh, yeah, this is my homepage.
This was posted in 2013 by N. Brown. And it says, growing up in middle America, and America is spelled with a K, so you know that it's some real shit.
Damn, that's fucked up.
I'm actually not going to be able to focus if that's too distractingly French. I feel like I need to be holding up one of those masquerade masks with the pointy beak on it. Well, that's
yeah, for sure.
But like a screamo
well, you're
version.
getting yeah, like some like other. Anyway, it's fine. It gets very eyes wide shut real quick. Just thinking about both of our L's.
There's probably a screamo band called Eyes Wide Shut too.
Definitely.
So growing up in middle America, punk rock made a huge impact on my teenage years, the author on antiimperialism.org writes. Like many who grew up on punk rock during its resurgence in the 90s and early 2000s, the most irreverent 1994 Punk in Drublic was one of my favorite albums. Another NOFX album left a lasting impression on me. The Decline, NOFX's 1999 socio-political opus, shattered punk rock conventions. In a genre of under 4-minute songs with repetitive chord, rhythm, and lyrical progressions, The Decline is a single 18-minute long song that is distinctly punk, yet aesthetically unique, using allusion and allegory to paint a picture of a vaguely posited social and political decline. This is really long, and I don't know. I can tell that you're now looking up whatever I just said.
Yeah, sorry. I'm checking out eyeswideshut.bandcamp.com, which is a New York-based, it looks to be like noisecore label. So they've released such artists as Infected Butthole and Dislocator and Grinding Halt. So yeah, I know I was not paying attention.
No problem. Well, that's an interesting method. Do you just type in the band name .bandcamp.com? Like you don't allow
just for today. Just
you just invented this new thing. That's cool.
New methods. Yeah.
So this article goes on to continue. The question of what psychologically sets first world revolutionaries, who are inherently traitors to their own class interests, apart from others, has always intrigued me. For example, a friend and I could together sing the whole 18 minutes of The Decline a cappella, yet we turned out quite differently. So this person did the hum challenge, I think.
Wow, yeah. I just like the idea of not everyone in my a cappella troupe turned out the same. That's fucked up.
Well, I've yet to understand what precisely lie behind this difference. It is obvious the song had a different impact and was likely interpreted differently. Content-wise, The Decline is a narrative description of social forces characteristic of a perceived decay of human progress. And it mentions singers Fat Mike and Spike. I'm pretty sure there's no one named Spike in NOFX, is there?
I don't know. Like that feels that's like Spike Slauson, like from what's it called, Swingin' Utters, but no, I was like, unless all jokes aside, I've truly forgotten a nickname.
Yeah, I think
no, there's no Spike.
So far, this antiimperialism.org article has the humming challenge and a misnamed back. Like they've done this. They've already done Decline-cember in.
Well, that's what, you know what it is without realizing it, because you and I are both such regular anti-imperialism.org readers. We probably absorbed this.
It's just a classic case of parallel thought, I think.
Exactly. Well, no, or like
unintended, yeah.
Accidental ripoff artists, us.
Remember when that was like the big thing that anyone cared about? Like everyone their actual homepage was the AV Club, and they just were so mad about Carlos Mencia or whoever it was. I can't even remember who was the joke thief.
Oh, it was Carlos.
Yeah, and they were just like constantly like, that was like the biggest thing until Jay Leno took the Tonight Show back, and then obviously a lot of other horrible things have happened since then that people have been
those are the only two pieces of news that I've ever really bothered to read about myself.
This article continues to say blunt sarcasm is both a weakness and strength in the song. It allows NOFX to express common ideology. It does so in a way that allows for literal agreement, more observant than judgmental. It is bluntly, honestly, with its appraisal of mass American, with a K, culture. Nonetheless, Fat Mike, in something of a final summary, is quick to note in poignant yet nonchalant frankness that the typical attitude he is satirizing is conscious of its overriding negative role. I don't want to talk about these lyrics.
This meeting is being recorded.
Oh, my friend is here. Hello.
Sorry. I was too busy screaming at you earlier, and I didn't do my job.
Sam, if only all of you could know Sam's real complaint department from today, from his day job. It is very good. Luckily for me, I don't have a day job.
It was not a good story. I was just being a whiny baby.
You were.
I'm trying to do it. I can't do it.
So this one I think is just kind of boring and nerdy, but it does have the pod energy in it. So thank you, Nikolai Brown. This next one is from the website. The blog. There could be snakes in here.
Sorry, I really can't get over, like, basically this whole article is about how some people didn't really listen to the Decline properly. For some, such as my teenage cohort with whom I'd sing the Decline, the message was easily accepted literally. It is easier to accept the world as it is than contribute to its ongoing decadence than it is to take a stand with the long interest of humanity, class struggle, and the exploited masses of the third world. Like, this person just wrote an essay about how they're like, everyone I went to high school with is not
dumb.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is dumb and didn't listen to NoFX right. Isn't that surprising?
I mean, that's the kind of tone we've come to expect from antiimperialism.org. Just kind of
that's true. It's a little pedantic.
Exactly. So this next one, there could be snakes in here. After all, it could be worse at Blogspot. Also from 2013. 2013, a big year for blogging the Decline, I think. This opens with two quotes. I am as desirous of being a good neighbor as I am of being a bad subject. And that's Thoreau. And then NoFX says...
People usually say, but the way that HD Thoreau, like, do people... Once again, I feel like we're dropping some letters here we didn't need to drop. Like,
that's
true. Like, have you ever seen Thoreau not... Like that, if Thoreau's not your friend. Like, I feel like you got a full name Thoreau.
That's true. I didn't know. I've never really said the HD. I mean, I don't really talk about Thoreau very often. In general, I'm not very thorough with what I do. But I think probably back then his name should have been SD Thoreau. In those days. And it's soon to be 4K Thoreau. And then the other quote is, the great thing about being a human, the ability to reason, but reasoning don't work when no one cares. 2 parts apathy, 1 part despair. NoFX. Going on and on about Decline has been the pastime of conservatives. But then the Decline, a lurid 18-minute portrayal of imperial America by punk's once reigning left statists, is remarkably similar to the Tory Prague dystopias of, say, Rush. They share gross length, sci-fi gloom, and self-aggrandizing individuality. Where the Decline is a cartoon version of Chomsky in politics, Rush were cartoons of the novels of Ayn Rand, herself a cartoon Nietzsche. Rush are, or were, the pop embodiment of giving in to romantic individualism. Now we know this as the basis of right-wing life, but even the most leftist has to have some. At minimum, they glory in their ability to see through the neoliberal and individualist script of our times. Since NoFX care about said oppressive script, we arrive at a contradiction which is also the principal contradiction in punk. How can the desire for social justice coexist with the love of doing what the fuck you want? Do you want Chomsky or do you want Kant?
I've often asked myself this question.
That is what, Well, actually, as you know, when I was trying to get Chomsky on the episode, that is what I wrote you. Do you want Chomsky or Kant? And then you said you wanted 8K Thoreau, which is like way ahead of the curve. You wanted a damn NFT Thoreau, actually.
This is a good riff. I think you should NFT Thoreau. There's got to be something. You can turn this into a Twitter.
Should I turn it into a real NFT? Maybe
you should. Yeah, definitely. People should be able to buy your NFT Thoreau.
Anyways, this article, I feel like is the most pretentious of the three that I have for today. I haven't really read it, also, but it does seem to be just like dropping references to different things to show how smart this person is. They also seem to be a little bit dismissive of the Decline, I think, because they say, first off, the Decline is really an EP of many 30-second songs stitched together. I mean, I don't care how many philosophers of different eras you're going to name drop. You're fucking stupid if you say that. It's absolutely not that in any way. Are you kidding me?
Well, I do like how they've broken it down, though.
It's true. Yeah, you want to read the sections. These sections actually do look, honestly, like Godspeed song titles.
That's true. 1, boo, with the capital. Guns, irrationality, religion. And then the time. 2, boo, war on drugs, prison. 3, boo, brackets, musical exposition. 4, boo, sadness. Call it enemy to be charitable. 5, boo, recap. 6, boo, sadness. 7, boo, everything. The end of the world sounds like epic, quiet, loud skate punk. Wow.
That's actually, I love that description right there. And also, Enemy is a cool French screamo band, I think, actually, for real. So it's all coming together, baby.
Incredible, yes.
Yeah, so they're being dismissive. I find it helpful to write out the themes. The main epic one at 6:15, 10:34, call it The Decline. I think, can you read music? I think that's
absolutely not. No,
but even if you look at it, how it's like going, it goes, bum, 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 bum. I think it's and they've written this is Chomsky as trombone, the end of the radical world. This snarky, pretentious article is pretty funny, actually.
This is pretty good, yeah.
Appendix 1, paradoxes in the received idea of punk. Punk tried to have both romantic individualism and social activism at the same time. Good for it. Punk despised the hippies while adopting lots of their practices. Example, hedonism, bohemianism, basement gigs, aesthetic experiment in certain prescribed dimensions, as well as their social role as the West young internal other. Punk did everything it could to be provocative, mostly in order to mock the resulting outrage. This universal irreverence conflicted with its po-faced element. The punk held nothing sacred but punk, and sometimes Marx. I mean, it goes on and on. This is definitely the most... but they do... Contemporary concept punk, this author lists, including Fucked Up's David Comes to Life, Titus Andronicus is the Monitor, Cursive's Ugly Order, Thermal's The Body, The Blood, The Machine. I guess I could kind of see those being similar in a way. And then there's even a mixtape and stuff. So this like pretentious blog post I think is pretty good. I wish I could find the name of the author to give them credit, but...
yeah, this is actually...
It's kind of interesting.
This feels like the best case for like blogspot culture, you know?
It's true, other than just being able to download albums without having to read anyone's statements about them whatsoever. So the final one is from something called levels.io. I don't know what that is. Probably some kind of... It seems like some sort of micro-blogging platform or something.
Oh, yeah, okay.
What is this, actually?
Levels.io.
I'm going to the homepage. There's some blogs even from this year.
Oh yeah, this is definitely. I cannot tell what this is. I'm on their Twitter now. It's definitely followed by a few people that.
Anyways, this levels. Oh, maybe is it a what's it called? It's like Substack type of thing, newsletter.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, it definitely is. It's a newsletter thing. That's what it is.
Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, so this is someone's newsletter from 2015. It's entitled, it's about the decline, and it's called Punk Died the Moment We Learnt That the World Was in Fact Getting Better, Not Worse. I mean, it's kind of a very bizarre take already, I think. Especially if you click through to see the guy who wrote it. He looks like a stock. He looks like a "this person does not exist" type of stock guy. I think he's a data.
Oh yeah, no, that person absolutely does not exist. But also, once again, I'm like, we share some followers here.
Yeah, I know. I share a couple with him.
Weird.
Yeah. So this guy, Max Roser, opens his article about how the world is better than ever, and that's why punk is dead. Says, "I like punk rock. I like it because it's probably one of the most honest music genres out there. Acoustic pop songs are too weak and not honest because, well, the human state isn't always weak. You need aggression. But then metal is too aggressive, and that's not reflective of the human state either. The human state, for me, is somewhere in the middle, and punk is that sweet spot. It's about dissatisfaction, self-deprecation, the rejection of the status quo, and highlighting the idiosyncrasies of mainstream culture. Fight Club is punk in many ways."
Yeah.
My favorite punk song is The Decline by NOFX. It's an 18-minute long epic critique on American society and a tale of its decline. But it applies to most of the world, as American culture has been exported everywhere now. It's the West, and in many ways the East now, too. I mean, this is just the most cursed intro I've ever read, I think.
Yeah, this is not quite as good as the highfalutin one I don't think.
Yeah. So I also like the idea that like you like punk because you need a genre that kind of captures all of the nuance of all human experience at once. Like it can't be too aggressive or too sad or too happy.
Some kind of Goldilocks listening going on here.
So, oh my God, I haven't read this whole thing, but there's already another great name drop coming up. So it's a song that's been in my playlist since I was 14. NOFX argues that if we let 300 plus million people dictate a country's fate, we're bound to move into populism and stupidity, just like Idiocracy argues.
Yes. People bringing it all back home.
Yeah, so this guy says he listens to it every year to think about it, and the same feeling grabs him, and society has changed in most of the areas they attacked it. I don't know what that sentence means. Society has changed in most of the areas they attacked it.
I guess like the things that NOFX sings about, society has fixed. So like when NOFX sings about how Americans are obsessed with guns, well, that's not a problem anymore. When NOFX sings about greediocracy, of course, we know that America is no longer a greediocracy.
Society has changed in most of the areas they attacked it. That sentence is going to be with me for quite a while. Also, this was published in, I think, 2015, so right before Trump. This is like the peak of like, everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Nothing. There's no division. So these are. I'm just going to read you the headers, maybe, of why. Maybe I'm tempted to read the whole thing, but I'll try not to. But so the main reason why punk is dead because everything is getting better. We're starting to become more varied. Basically, we're all consuming more varied media than ever before because we all have Netflix and YouTube. A lot of us don't all watch the same things. And then there's Wikipedia binge reading, I guess. The end of conformity is the next one. The internet killed conformity. The web is full of niches. I guess that's kind of true. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah.
Thousands of people subcultures that we've never heard of.
He goes on to talk about like BDSM, polygamy. Isn't it polyamory? Is it polygamy more of a... Maybe that's not correct, but... Well, he does link to the Daily Beast. Polygamy is more popular than ever. LGBT culture, he's talking about... All of that is, well, incredible and impossible if we didn't have the internet. Being different is finally cool. He puts in quotation marks.
I like the idea that, like, it literally it's like LGBT culture has had an extreme rise since the internet came along. Gay marriage is now legal in the U.S. I like the idea of being like, that's the internet. You know, yeah. Everyone knows the internet legalized gay marriage
because of Wattpad, I think, probably.
Yeah, exactly. People are like, well, if Rick and Morty can get along so great, maybe it's not so bad after all.
Well, this guy definitely knows the web and culture because his next point of why punk is dead is the death of advertising. Consumerism is fueled by rampant predatory advertising on television, radio, and outdoors. And yes, it followed our way onto the web in the last 2 decades, but things are changing. People are sick of being manipulated by ads, buying stuff they don't want, and are installing ad blockers. So
ad blockers killed punk. It's a punk blocker in many ways.
Now that we have ad blockers, we can never be manipulated by ads, including, like we just all like... we all like the Wendy's Twitter because it's a funny Twitter account, not because we're being manipulated by ads. That's kind of different. That's amazing news. It ends. And then the next one, consumerism is dying. Less ads in turn might lead to less consumerism. Thanks to everything becoming digital, minimalism is now a huge trend. We're not buying stuff so much anymore. Consumerism is dying. Is that true, you think?
I would say
this is kind of the most I've ever like, you know how when you think back and you're like, damn, what was everyone thinking in the year 2005? This is from 2015 and I'm really thinking like, what the fuck was what was in the air?
I think it's true. Like, that's why, for example, the little known company Amazon has struggled so much is because of the death of consumerism, right? We thought that they were going to be, the next big American company like an IBM or a Ford, but of course they've languished because nobody buys anything.
Exactly. I also like this great thing about cars in this consumerism segment. Nobody cares how many cars you own. We get an Uber everywhere anyway. And that obviously has nothing to do with car ownership at all. Except for a smartphone, computer, desk, bed, and kitchen, we don't need a lot anymore to live our lives.
The more, this is with Airbnb, you don't need to own a house anymore. You can just stay at other people's houses.
That's the more extreme trend of anti-ownership, as he puts it. And the get debt part. Debt is not cool anymore. The 2008.
Remember when debt was cool?
Yeah, it used to be. It's kind of like you smoke a cig and like get another loan.
We're gonna have to burn all the get debt shirts that we made after last week's episode.
This article is so bad. Holy shit! Incredible. The 2008 financial crisis is probably one of the best examples that NOFX is the decline was right all along. Our infinite growth fueled by higher and higher consumption and more debt wasn't sustainable. It was credit everywhere, from personal credit cards to businesses to banks. It was a culture of debt. Now, 7 years later, we're still dealing with the fallout from that economic crisis and trying to pay for everything we spent that we actually couldn't afford. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, everyone knows it was the financial crisis that finally debt was.
Is that what The Big Short is about? Is that why everyone was so obsessed with that for a little while? Because of Adam McKay? Is that like?
Yeah.
If anything, it's like kind of nice that Trump became the monoculture, so people stopped trying to like explain subprime mortgages at dinner parties or whatever. Just like
right, people stopped reading Michael Lewis.
It's a little easier to explain when you need to find something to talk about bad. Also, I'm really
Trump really killed Michael Lewis's career. I feel like that's tough.
I'm really sad about the Adam McKay Will Ferrell breakup, and
it's fucking heartbreaking.
And I think Adam McKay, I could tell even just from The Big Short and all of his other shit that he's too pretentious. Will Ferrell just wants to like chill and make funny movies.
You need balance
that everyone hates, but yeah, Adam McKay's gotten a taste of clout and he's fucking up. So you're on notice, Adam McKay. Okay, now up next, it's written in 2015. Why punk is dead? Well, it's because politics is more democratic than ever.
Yeah, that's true.
The internet has
made democracy better.
Go on.
Wow. Okay. As much as it's horrible to see Edward Snowden fleeing to Russia and Julian Assange still being stuck in an embassy building in London, some things do not, and well, I guess they've changed a bit. They were able to leak information about governments that the public deserve to hear. Wow. Governments are now starting to have a healthy fear of the public monitoring them, as they should. Wow.
Here's an example of it today on Reddit. And then I guess it's just highlighting someone saying something about something being the greatest thing on the internet. This wins the internet for today, I guess, is what they're trying to say. Why try to beat them when a million others tried? NOFX sings, but we are finally beating them. The public is becoming the government, and that was way overdue. The war on drugs is over. Up next.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
It's great. Maybe it's good that all the bad stuff happened right after 2015. You know,
yeah. Like, definitely at least this guy deserved all that bad stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You only have to look at the mess that much of South America is. That's kind of fucked up phrasing. To see the destruction that the war on drugs had for Colombia to Mexico, the last 3 decades have been terrorized by, on one hand, drug cartels, and on the other, police enforcers trying to hunt them down. This is, because of the part about the dime, getting fined for having a dime or whatever.
Yeah, because it goes on to talk about where weed is legal in the States now.
How does that relate to Colombia and Mexico, really?
I guess it's like we learn from them because they are a mess.
The next header is just mass incarceration.
Oh my God. This is so fucking, this feels like honestly really uninspired parody.
I know.
So the mass incarceration of nonviolent criminals has finally become something politicians want to change. Obama has started to call it out, and next steps are drafting bills to get less people locked up for less time and get them back in society faster. How did that go?
It's just incredible. Oh, so good. So the war on drugs is over, mass incarceration. Of course, the last header, the world is getting better. It's a really great time we live in, and we should be grateful for it. And it goes further than just what's being sung in punk rock songs.
Oh my God, this is so fucking crazy.
And then it sort of becomes third person about the author, I guess. But the conclusion is improvement of life on Earth is a never-ending quest, but we should be aware of how great our current state already is. Because the human state is one of dissatisfaction, and so it's hard to grasp the simple fact we've never had it this good. Oh my God. Incredible. So I just clicked through to see if, like, in 2015, if everyone was like, you should definitely die for writing this, but instead the replies to this post are haven't watched the clip, but Punk was dead by the time NOFX started. Who said Punk is dead? NOFX rules with a Z by BTW. Still a great song though, someone says. That song is a masterpiece. Yes, best lyrics ever, adds Levels. So I think people mostly received this pretty well, this great think piece, as I think they should have, because it's one of the best things I've ever read in my life.
I mean, I feel like I'm receiving it well. Like, yeah, I feel like it's actually really, I wish we had read this off the top, because I think we could have actually skipped this whole month.
It's true.
No reason to do it.
Punk is dead. Life keeps getting better. And NOFX, you were wrong, babe. So,
yeah.
But, you know, we have, of course, we've already got our passing grade, our C grade. Do you want to finish the damn song so we can
look? I'm ready. Like, I've always been really into good grades, and so I'm ready to get an A here.
Yeah, like that band that you love is pretty good.
They are a good grade. Yeah, totally.
Okay. Well, I think where did we leave off? We left off right before kind of what I think is kind of the thesis statement of the song. At least it's the mention of
we get the title.
The title.
They say the title. Like
they
in
finally
a movie.
say the title. Yeah. So let's hit it up.
Oh, this is like really is where we're entering the finale.
Yeah.
We know the truth, but prefer lies. Lies are simple. Simple is bliss. Why go against tradition when we can? Admit defeat, live in decline. Be the victim of our own design. The status quo, built on suspect. Why would anyone stick out their neck?
Oh.
It's so like, and this is where you're like, oh, it's all starts to come together. Like
it's
it really
all coming
is.
together, and it really does feel like a piece of musical theater. I also hate how not only did that one person say it's an EP of 30-second songs, but it's also like, everyone just won't shut up about how it's 18 minutes long. Like, I feel like the runtime almost doesn't matter, because once you're in it with the Decline, you kind of lose track of time, I think.
Yeah, completely. It's just like the idea that this song is 18 minutes long is crazy, because it like, although we've been talking about it for weeks now, I feel like we've been listening to it for minutes.
I know. Like, I think I am going to listen to it again all the way through after. But I also think there's something about the lyrics at this part are so beautiful and like mournful. They're not really on the nose so much as they are just like actually borderline satirical or just kind of like, I don't know. There's just something about the way why would anyone stick out their neck? The way that he asks questions in this song is so like effective, because it's so sad in a way.
Yeah, like this is sort of the opposite. This is like the reverse shepherd tone or whatever, you know, where it feels like.
Now, what's the shepherd tone?
Interesting that you would ask. Perhaps you should listen to the 6th episode of a great podcast called Blink 155. Heard it's hosted by two cool cats. This, like, despite the fact that it is like kind of punk beat and high energy, it feels like we've like downshifted a little bit here. And there is, this like sort of mournful, you know, even before we get to kind of the title track here, this sort of element of like, sort of resignation that comes in.
Yeah.
You know, which is, you're right, like very sad.
And it is sad because the same reason why things are funny, because it's true. I mean, I think especially someone who's listening to NOFX more than just like as a larf because they're camping or something, like as a joke, remembering their childhood. I think the average NOFX fan is somebody who is like, as that think piece said, misinterpreting the lyrics as being literal or something, like, because eventually you do have to just kind of like, it's just so natural and human to be like, I can't change any of this. So what am I supposed to do? Like, I will just go to the mall or hang out with serotonin. Yeah, totally. Recycling. And then when you find out that like so much of recycling actually just ends up in the landfill anyways or something, you know, it's like, it just feels so hopeless. And that
this is actually the most relatable part of the song. You're right. Where you're just like, what do you know, like you sort of go from being real sort of doe-eyed in your teenage years to simply realizing that on an individual basis, you cannot affect any change. So why bother? And
also like the reveal, not only the title drop, but like you think of it as being sort of a riff on the decline of Western civilization. It's like the decline of America as an idea. But what they're saying is admit defeat, live in decline. It's like, it's named after everyone participating in this sort of like dip in effort or empathy or, you know, anything positive. It's kind of like, it's like we were the decline all along.
Yeah, or the idea that like the decline itself is just like a state that you inhabit, as opposed to a thing that is like happening to you. Like, you know, something being in decline. It's like, okay, well, you know, I don't know, can it go down forever? But the idea of being like inhabiting a state of perpetual decline is like so sad and effective as an image, right?
It's so good, yeah. Like and for the title drop to be so late in the song and to hit that good is like, ugh.
I know.
Fuck.
And the fact that it could, because I mean, it's about to come back again, right? The idea that like you haven't heard it and then you kind of hear it, I feel like utilized sort of twice in succession in different contexts elevates both usages.
Yeah, it's so good. Oh, what does Fellow Members Club mean? I don't really get that.
I actually don't. Yeah. So the way it's,
I figured it was like some sort of like Zellers thing, or like, you know how they're referencing Barry Manilow and Pepsi. I figured it was some kind of like Gen X reference to some kind of like membership card.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so I feel like it's basically like admitting that we are all part of a club that is ultimately one of alienating individualism. In the way that one of those articles was like, NOFX exists is the opposite of like, you know, the sort of like Randy and bullshit of like Neil Peart and Rush. So I guess the idea is you're addressing fellow members, sort of thought break, club, like as opposed to Club Med or Club Dread. This is Club We've Got Ours. Like we're fine, and so who cares about anyone
right?
Else?
Yeah.
And I guess in this setting, he is like addressing like a meeting. And so they're introducing the concept of the decline to that club. I do sort of get it. I've never thought about this section of the song in such a thorough storytelling fashion.
Well, when I search Fellow Members Club, there's like the guidance, the rules and guidance for like a yacht club and a tennis club. But there's also like a Reddit post from 11 years ago that just has the lyrics. Fellow Members Club, we've got ours. I'd like to introduce you to our host. He's got his and I've got mine. Meet the decline. And then there's a imgur.com tiny picture of George W. Bush.
Like waving and looking silly.
From Reddit pics.
I love it. I was like, what are the comments? The comments are just repeating lyrics to.
Yeah, just more lyrics. I just love seeing a 213 pixel wide image on the computer.
It's the right size for images.
It just looks good, you know?
It's the best image size. Everyone knows it.
But yeah, I mean, Fellow Members Club, we've got us. I'd like to introduce you to our host. Now, what does that mean?
So I feel like that. So the idea is that inside of this sort of individual, what's the objectivist fucking
greediocracy? Is that what you're thinking?
This greediocracy, yeah, atomized society, right?
Yes.
I was just trying to think of one of those other popular terms that we live in. The sort of host at this club dinner.
Oh,
the
that's what you're saying.
abstract
Okay.
concept of
So it
American
is
decline.
more kind of gross personification, like we experienced earlier on in the
I
song.
think so. This is
It's like-
Decline. Yeah.
Decline. And it's Nels Klein's brother, Decline. And like when he says, I'd like to introduce you to our host, I do picture like, because it all feels so Gen X, I picture kind of a 50s-ish, like he's holding like one of those like skinny long microphones that has a little fuzz thing at the end.
Right style.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm glad that they didn't go for the personification Decline, given that it seems like, as we've gone through the song, that probably was a very real lyrical danger.
I don't love even how this is framed, that the Decline is hosting the dinner party. Like it was so powerful one stanza ago, and now it's kind of
No, I love it because when it had watching like live videos of this, like when like watching that Red Rocks with the drum on the cover, like with the orchestra, when he does like meet the decline, like it's so theatrical, like it's so it makes you feel like I'm watching Chicago. Like it's just so
that part is amazing.
Theater.
I think it just get rid of I'd like to introduce you to our house. Just kill that line, put a different line in there. Maybe just I don't know. I mean,
if you were the producer, this would be your suggestion.
If I was producing if I was the one who was manning the booth for the Decline, I would be like, let that other guy sing more of it first of all. Melton.
Yeah, that's
because he's killing it over there.
You call him Melton?
I'm running out of names.
Melton is good. Oh. So I always forget how much of the song is this, and it almost it could be 18 minutes of this.
Yeah, and I think
what a part.
The bell is added only here, right? It wasn't in it earlier, I don't think.
Yeah. Because this is just you get the
the ride. And I think there's marching too now.
Yeah. This is where we get she starts to get layer. And the octave chords.
Yeah, were the octave chords in this earlier, or was it just the bass?
It was just the bass. So it's it's this constant and then yeah, what is that?
I think it's a synth stab. There's a sort of Telemundo sounding synth as well.
Yeah.
The cheering?
Oh, yeah, the cheering makes me think of New Noise, which I feel outside of the Decline has the most effective usage of cheering to just fatten up a sound. Oh, we get the lyrics here too.
These lyrics are so sick. So there's
I never realized that he said we're Soylent Green.
Yeah, so the lyrics are, we are the queer, we are the whore. I mean, those lines, we've kind of been trying to figure out what to say about those, but
we've just elected not to.
It's at least nice that it loops around back to lyrics from earlier. Had they been different lyrics, it'd be even better. But then ammunition in the class war, that's sick.
Yeah.
We are worker, we love our queen. So another B, now it's fucking B movie over here with these guys. We sacrifice, we're Soylent Green. That is amazing.
We sacrifice. Oh my God, it's so well constructed, and it's funny because again in the sort of, I think there was the good essay, right, where when they're doing the Rush comparison and they're like, it's another sci-fi dystopia, and I was like, I don't think there's anything sci-fi about this. And I'm glad I didn't say that, and perhaps I should have been like, this was what I knew they were referring to, but I never thought there was anything sort of science fiction about this. And then of course you just get this. It's such a perfect phrase to drop in there because it fits the rhyme scheme and it works, and it's so intensely and immediately evocative of a whole other suite of ideas that are thematically already baked into the song. It's earned, but it's such a great shorthand for just being meat for the beast.
It's so true. And so I think we also need to just kind of once again point out how many layers are happening here musically. There is that sort of strange almost soap opera or something like, or it's like, it's kind
that
of
synth is it's amazing.
It almost sounds like entering the King's Court kind of melody in like Robin Hood Men in Tights or something. It sounds so cheap and silly.
I want to hear like an isolated mix of that. Like I want someone to do a classic albums where they just sit behind the board and I can just hear that.
Yeah. How do we pitch that? Let's host that. We could get Disco Dave in there and talk about the lyrics and the whole crew. And then like the marching and the cheering. I think those three elements are why I always thought it sounded like more of a sports kind of song, like a World Cup or a FIFA type of song. And then there's like the stabs. Like, I guess, I would just love to know like who plays synth on a NOFX record. That's so odd.
Yeah, are there credits for that?
Let's see, view all credits. Written by Fat Mike, label Fat Records. No, not really. But I mean,
yeah, there's nothing on like the Wikipedia or anything either.
Yeah, like I wonder who did that or what were they even going for is the other thing. Like it doesn't really sound like anything else.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Oh,
it's so good. And then there's a key changes at the very end. The bell is so
cool.
The
one bell.
It's so sick. And then it gets all thin.
I love that that's like a recurring motif as well in the song, like a way of sort of moving through changes, like because you hear that right off the top where it does the like only mids, like even the sort of like hacky production stuff in this, which is like not at all hacky in this context, is like part of what they use to like stitch it together.
Yeah, it's almost
it's remarkable.
Like it's impossible to be dismissive of this as ham-handed as it is. It's like it's truly a masterpiece, I think.
Yeah. I mean, by this point in the month, we do have to think that, or else what have we been doing with our lives? Maybe that's a bigger question.
Yeah, that's kind of, I mean, it's been quite a while, but I'm curious if the fade out has any other details, but it sounds like just a nice fade out.
Let's just listen real close.
Yeah, let's listen to the silence. Oh my
God! All I heard was a mouse clicking.
I accidentally hit restart, which I would be down to do actually.
Let's just do it. Let's just do it again. Let's run back.
I mean, before we do, like, I wanted to close out the cover section with the Red Rocks because I've never checked it out. I thought we could watch some of that.
Oh my God, it's so fucking great.
But before we do that, like, I mean, what's our final thoughts on the Decline?
I knew that this was going to be fun, like the minute that you suggested it, because we have talked extensively about our like very like not at all casual adoration and appreciation of the song. But the degree to which we found things that have only further like enriched my appreciation of it is a surprise to me, which maybe means I should pay more attention to lyrics because I'll like music that I already like more. But that's sort of that's a personal journey that I probably won't go on.
Well, I think the funny thing is I think of you as someone who is lyrics first, which is why you couldn't really get into Pedro the Lion.
yeah. I guess a couple of weeks ago when I said I was going to, was that on the Exclusive or a main episode where I said
can't remember. I forget.
Listen to Pedro the Lion, and I did. I went out for a walk after that, and it's too horny and sad. Like, I want one or the other. Never the twain shall meet. For me in music. Or in life, but this really was a situation where like I already thought this was kind of like a towering achievement in like pop punk composition and songwriting, and I think it's even better than that now. which is like always what you hope for. I feel like there's stuff that we look at that doesn't always hold up to like 90 minutes of scrutiny, and the fact that we spent an entire month interrogating this song, and I'm only more interested in how it came together. Like on some level, they're just like I've left this whole experience still having questions, which is fucking insane.
It's so cool.
How about you?
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like I feel like it is in the same way that the Shepherd tone, something I just learned about today, keeps moving forward and growing. Like I do feel like this is such an open-ended thing. Like we probably won't, but I feel like we could talk about the Decline all month every December and find new things. Like it just feels it feels so impenetrable, and yet it's just so fun to like dig around in it and listen to it. And like I have a lot of respect for NOFX that I didn't necessarily before. Like I just think this is fucking art, baby.
This is art, baby.
But yeah, okay, so we've been checking out some covers. We opened the month with Baz's Orchestra doing their orchestral version of it. And I guess, when was this? This was during COVID, or?
I don't think so.
I think it was. It was.
Really?
I think, well, at least Fat Wreck uploaded it to YouTube a year ago. Maybe it was before.
I wonder if they put it up during COVID. Because I remember watching this one night, like a very COVID, just sort of watching live videos. And I was like, oh shit, I should check this out. And I mean, it is like, look, we're not going to watch the whole thing. It is extremely worth your time. Like you will fucking flip your shit. It's fucking awesome. It is everything that Metallica wanted the S&M performances with the San Francisco Symphony Orchestra to be.
Well, if anyone knows S&M, it's freaking Fat Mike.
It's true, yeah. I can't believe you haven't seen this though.
Yeah, I've just never gotten around to it. Maybe I subconsciously knew I was.
NOFX doing our song called "The Decline" with Baz and his orchestra. So, watch.
When did they do this?
This is weird before.
They released it during COVID, you're right, but yeah, I assume it was probally.
Yeah, because there's no way in the middle of COVID this show out.
Yeah. Have a fucking bassoon. I'm not ready. Let's do this.
You mean like right now? Because I can't do it right now.
This is why we actually played here, because we thought recording a live
2019.
would be kind of cool.
They did this.
So you're all going to be on a live record.
Wow, the orchestra is dressed so beautifully.
I wonder. I feel like NOFX is really good, but it's stressing me out to imagine them playing in sync with an orchestra.
They're so fucking.
I've seen them.
Have we not talked about this? Yeah, okay. I mean, they're so tight.
It's true, but I feel like, yeah.
It's like, and it's one of those things where you're like, I think Mike at least is really fucked up, and yet he's still amazing. Like, truly unaffected by any degree of consumption, it seems.
This intro is so cool.
Yeah.
And there's
Kremlin.
Kremlin and Gremlin. Maximilian.
Yeah, this is so fucking great. It would be cool if this was actually how all classical music sounded. And like if NOFX was also in orchestras.
Well, it's funny how when we opened the month with Morrow from Godspeed, he was saying that they're constantly being offered collaborations with orchestras, like Godspeed playing with an orchestra, and they always turn it down because they think it's lame. But I feel like it's always good. Like everyone should always do it. Oh, I don't want to see the conductor though. He's
there's a lot of conductor face in this.
This is amazing.
And the idea that also, like, in doing this, they're able to add more, like, references to the melodies, like, in the orchestration and arrangement. You know what? I think Fat Mike is cool and rocks.
Yeah, I do too.
Like, look at this guy.
This is kind of the exact experience of watching Kanye on Amazon, where you just kind of forget all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, bro.
Shout out. He's also really good at Fat Mike voice.
It's true. Oh, maybe in this video we could have figured out what Alvin is saying.
Oh.
Too late.
I like that this is edited a little bit with, like, sometimes the cuts are like earthquake vision.
Yeah, I know. It's definitely not, for an orchestral collaboration, it's certainly not classy. But that wouldn't be in the spirit.
No, this is like the orchestra is on NOFX's turf right now, you know?
It feels like this is like a genre piece. It's like a trauma DVD or something.
Yeah, totally. If you look carefully, there's cameos in this.
This is so good.
That little bass.
It's a crazy fill. We gotta keep it playing for a little bit.
Yeah, I realized this one. I was like, this is just you and me watching this video. Oh.
Whoa, Baz with the Xylo. This is insane.
It's just so good. Like, I'm just like kind of just in awe of it.
Especially because I love the song even more now.
Like, it just so perfectly retains its, like, snotty, dumb core.
I do
but
kind
also doesn't, yeah.
I feel like it could, if one thing they could have done differently, but maybe it's good that they didn't, but they could, like, have NOFX cut out entirely and just be orchestra sometimes.
Well, there's another full 15 minutes.
That's true.
They're letting NOFX really breathe here, so I feel like, you know, their time has to come.
It's true. I bet you it's the end that's, like, just insane.
You gotta watch this whole thing, dude. Like, for real.
Should we just keep watching? We got nothing else to do.
Yes. I mean...
Oh... Oh my god. That was insane.
It's so crazy.
Oh, a shilling part is good for orchestra, old-timey kind of music.
Yeah. Also, just like great lighting. I would love to go to Red Rocks.
Where is it? I don't even know what it is.
It's got like a bunch of red rocks. I don't know. It's
cool.
Yeah, where? I actually don't know where Red Rocks is. California, I'm gonna bet.
Yes.
Wishes have come true. Colorado, by the way.
I wish it was the end already.
I know, like, I feel, look at, we could watch this whole thing. Like, I would not be mad about it. I'm more just thinking about, like, there's a guest still. Like, are we being disrespectful to our guest if we just sort of sit through this video? I mean, maybe this is someone that we want to be disrespectful to.
I want to be disrespectful to our guest. Serotonin.
Sarah let the process on. She left her answering machine on.
They get a little jazzy with it.
It's a little too jazzy.
Messages don't want to ever hear.
It'd be cool if Baz and his orchestra like played with a ska band and did like orchestral ska parts.
More transmissions lay victims of the laissez-faire.
Imagine if they did like some boss tones.
10,000
Yeah, that's true. It'd be sick.
So I don't really know enough about NOFX. I didn't notice that he has like a discharge flyer as a tattoo.
Oh yeah, they're punk, man.
I think it's important to watch this because
This feels like an earned conclusion, to be honest.
The Decline month has had no effects in it at all. So
That's fair.
yeah, all the guys in the car are like, I can't fucking believe I'm moshing at an orchestra.
I mean, I think this is like one of the greatest songs of all time.
I agree.
And I think that this elevates it. Like, so this is like a maybe even better version of what I think is like I don't know, is this a top 50 song?
I think I like, similarly to how I spent my whole life saying that Biodome was my favorite film.
Yeah.
And I was like half joking, but then have slowly realized I wasn't joking. That's how I feel right now about this. Like,
Yeah, right. It's like you're like, oh, everything about this is real for me.
yeah. Oh, here comes the wah pedal.
Oh. Come on. I mean, really great lighting, too.
Tool part.
Yeah, for people, I mean, obviously, we're just listening to this, but people don't realize, literally, Tool are on stage right now.
Yeah.
This is with Baz's orchestra and also the bass player from Tool.
Well, of course, because Maynard is also the name of a member of NOFX.
Yes.
This is insane. Come on. I think this part of the song, this transition is the most like, okay, one song ended and another began.
True. Yeah.
But it's still...
But the ideas still all connect. But yeah, I get it.
Exactly.
It's just like it's like a ring out, right? More or less.
Yeah. Oh, some handheld camera work.
Yeah, just a little. It's a Cloverfield.
It's like a big time dad zoom going on. Whoa, the plucking violins. You can barely hear it, but it's when your ears find it, it's really cool.
little delicate plinkies. You know, we did. We probably talked about this. We did the TSO at Polaris one year, and they like played with a handful of the artists, and they also did an arrangement. They did Drake's "Know Yourself" because Drake didn't come, obviously. And there was a lot of plinking of the like
because all the music
parts.
writers were being so mean to Drake, saying he didn't deserve the money, the prize money.
Yeah. But it's like that plinking, man, a little sort of.
Well, maybe if you bring back your Drake covers night, you should get some plinking in there.
We should.
Here's the best part of the song, hey? I think conclusively this is the best.
Yes. Section. It's such a great, like, normal pop punk part, too.
Totally. Whoa. I just sent you a message for the G-Chat only tier.
Oh. I mean, is it possible it's the same person?
Oh, the strings.
What a voice.
The crowd honestly kind of looks like when they make like CGI audiences for video games.
Oh yeah, it's very Second Life.
This makes me want to cover the Decline.
Makes me want to learn to play violin.
Oh, I'm getting chills from this part.
Great host delivery there.
Really good.
And I've got mine. But
I cannot wait to see what they do with this part.
It's like right now it's like kind of relatively small, right?
Yeah, it's just NOFX, I think, right now, right?
Yeah.
This is incredible.
They should do this with more pop punk bands. Like there should be like Goldfinger with the orchestra.
I think Bosstones would be the best.
I mean, Bosstones actually, anything like, probably anything that is inherently a little more
Jaunty.
already arranged.
Yeah,
you know?
true.
Like there's existing counter melodies that to pull out of like those sorts of songs.
This is so cool. I would love to see this live.
Yeah, they should tour this. They should make the crowd all start marching. I like that Baz is doing punk jumps.
Or you just pantomime the bass.
Oh, he
did
leaned
the
into the
ride.
bell.
Unbelievable.
It's the first actually good music ever performed. yeah. I love that even in that, like when they're doing the breaks, it felt like there was like that "Father, what if" like melody that like got brought back too.
So cool. Now just imagine all these people are cheering for us and for the Decline-cember.
I don't have to imagine.
You're welcome, folks. The Decline-cember is coming to an end, but we couldn't end it without catching up with an old friend. Welcome back to the show, my buddy, Nate Ruess. What's up?
What's up? This is my first time back since it's been rebranded.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. Not to go full combative Drew and Tom mode on you, but you did leave me on red when you were invited onto a different episode. So that
I know, but you know that I didn't even realize that I left you on red.
I told the group chat that you left me on red, and then you created this elaborate excuse that you erase all of your text messages every day or something. It was like,
I literally erase my text messages after the conversation is done. I delete the text messages. Like I deleted
psycho.
No, that's what my wife thinks too. She thinks I'm hiding something.
Oh, okay. Now I understand.
No, but it's just so that I get overwhelmed by just seeing all these messages. I have a new phone, as you know, that like only like 10 people have the number to. I've gotten rid of my other phone, so no one in the world can get a hold of me.
Which should mean you have less text messages, so you shouldn't be erasing them all just because I asked you to talk about propaganda.
But I felt like you DM'd me to talk about propaganda.
So you just ignored me there. Either way, you left me on red. So that's fine.
I didn't want to do that because I care about Let's Talk More Rock so much more than I care about the Decline.
You wouldn't want to have wanted to fuck it up. Well, I mean, also, I really don't like propaganda at all, and I think they kind of suck. So
I know I hate that about you. I really do.
What else do you hate about me? Let's get into it.
That's it. That's really all. That's all I hate. Otherwise, I love you. I'm a little upset, like I said, that this is my first time on the rebrand of 155. I was there for like all the early art, like what it was going to be, what was going to happen. And then I never got to talk about Let's Talk About Feelings. I definitely didn't want to talk about like some of the other songs you guys have done.
Yeah, we should have had you come on to talk about Crass or something and really show your ass as a
absolutely not
post dog. Okay, but you did, to be fair, while I am interrogating you, to be fair, you did say to me that you were angry that you weren't invited to talk about the Decline. And then I said, well, then ask. And you said, I need to be invited. You're like a vampire, basically.
That's what I think I said I need to be invited. Well, yeah. Who asked to be on someone else's I heard about,
I've done that.
Famous Canadian. I heard about a famous Canadian leftist, not you and Drew,
right?
Who, when he found out that the Chapo stream was having on an adult film actress, that he DM'd them and was like, "Hey, can I be on too?" And they all just blocked him.
Yeah, and if you're up on that, it is who you think it is, probably. But
it is absolutely who you think it is.
That's true. Yeah, you didn't do that. That's a good reason to not invite yourself on, I guess.
I refuse. Otherwise, I would have invited myself on to like every episode of Globe Hell.
Right. Well, it's always an open door. We're just here. We're talking to you all day anyway. So whenever you want to hit
instead,
record,
I just had to steal Drew to do Claynecast.
Yeah, that's true. You did steal Drew for Claynecast, and he's really. I feel like the work is suffering on both pods because he's spread so thin.
He's spread so thin. Like, he doesn't edit Globe Hell. He
doesn't do anything on Globe Hell. He just shows up. That's
what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know.
And this one he says he's going to edit it, and we have to say a certain famous Canadian film critic's name if we want him to edit something out, because he somehow will not allow us to say the word, and he gets so mad at me if we're in the middle of an episode and I just start saying this person's name.
So Nate, I mean, how do you feel being a Grammy-winning celeb? Your day-to-day life is immersed in celebs. You are a celeb. You have fans who stalk me and my friends online because they want to get to you. And yet instead of like hobnobbing with, I don't know, the Kardashians or Cameron Diaz or whoever it might be, instead you know so much about Canadian media figures who each have about 10,000 followers or sometimes up to 30 or 40. I mean, you know all the esoteric Canadian media leftist figures.
You can do both. You can do both, because I was literally with Kourtney Kardashian with Travis Barker, remember?
Oh, on SNL, of course.
She was there the whole entire time, and then when they got and then they both said how obsessed they were with the song, and then the next day they were in Santa Barbara getting hitched.
Well, engaged, but yeah, that's
true.
Engaged,
but then posting about it and posting the Young Thug song.
That's true. So I guess you can have Nate Ruess is proof that you really can have it all, is what we're getting at here.
Well, I mean, that's not the part that I wanted.
You just want to know about the Canadian film critic who we find annoying because he talks about the Eternals too much.
Happiest I've been in my entire life was the last few years online.
So the last time you were here, you were, I mean, as I get to know you more, I know that you love to cancel, and I love to cancel too. It's honestly a miracle that this is even happening right now. We pushed it back so many times, both of us. But last time you were here, you were telling us how much you love Free Punk Lyrics. You were playing previews of the Free Punk Lyrics EP you were working on. And of course, because of Nate's Gonna Nate, you've seemingly have just canceled the project altogether.
Yeah, I ghosted my own project. I completely forgot about it. I got busy with other stuff.
But then,
then I was just like, and we have all these really good demos. There's just some inner band turmoil already.
That's fair. But I'm saying you also kind of ditched it to make an album with Young Thug called Punk. And I'm curious, how much influence did you have in the album being called Punk? Or were you there for any of the conversations?
No, I had none. I actually
you were like, we should call it alternative instead.
No, because I think he had an album called Sex or something like that too. I don't know. I don't ask questions to Thugger, because he just I like that I get to call him that. But
does he riff? Can you guys riff about a funny post?
He and I, no, we don't. He doesn't read posts, but he and I are extremely close.
That's so cool.
It is because I honestly he's a great person to hang out with. Well, we were supposed to be working the first day we got together, and the two of us just played video games the whole time. So,
do you think though that maybe he's being a little bit of a poser by calling his album Punk?
I mean, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not going to do this.
I don't think that. I'm asking why you think that.
How wild is it that Travis Barker ended up playing live on the song?
So funny. And also, I'm saying this right now. His drumming was egregious.
Hey, don't say that.
It was a bit much for that song.
I'm going to end this interview if you keep talking like that. Stop it.
So Nate, you have proven you had to leave for a while and prove your punk cred by hanging out with Travis Barker and Kourtney Kardashian, the king and queen of punk, working on the greatest punk album of the year, Young Thug's Punk. You're finally back because you begged to be on the show, and I said no, but you kept begging. You're here to talk about NOFX's The Decline. Tell me, just kind of paint me a picture of your early experiences with NOFX's The Decline.
I mean, I got it the first day it came out. The CD, you couldn't even put it in your car. It was one of those shaped CDs. So it was like, whoa, how are we going to listen to this?
Were you already a NOFX fan, and then you knew The Decline was coming?
Yeah, for sure. Because when I first got into NOFX, I mean, one of the first songs I think I ever covered, in my freshman year in high school, was Linoleum, of course. And then So Long and Thanks for All the Shoes kind of came out around then, and I still think that album's pretty brilliant.
I think that's the best one, honestly.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
Is it the last song, the We're Going Down But Not Our Love? So good.
Dude, oh my God. So good. But then there's another song that I actually that resonates with me. where he's like, the desperation's gone.
Oh,
it's all the same.
So good.
Yeah. So that I still listen to The Decline at least once a month.
It's just okay. So you've had The Decline with you ever since it came out.
Yes. And I like it. It never through all my phase, because after that was probably like my emo phase. Jimmy World was from Phoenix, and then you kind of get into like, Jets to Brazil and shit like that through that, and then eventually you rebel and start listening to Third Eye Blind, and then you get and then and then you get a record deal, and then you start listening to alt country and the Beatles. Right. And then there's like a weird circle. Now after all this time, it's circled back to The Decline, but it never really left me.
Yeah. Like that's what I was curious about. Like, did you, the cliche, what I used to ask people about Blink all the time, I think applies here. Did you ever feel like you were too good for The Decline or too cool for it? Cause I also think NOFX got pretty bad, I think personally.
Horrible.
But like The Decline is just, it's always sounded good. It's always sounded fresh.
Yeah, no, once we hear those cymbals going, you're just like, let's do this. Like once he's got the hi-hat going, I'm ready to go. Like, and it's, I don't know if it's just like the bass starting it out, because it's so good. And as I've become more and more, I think, politically aware, or just like around the world, it's also so cliche. It is the equivalent of being in like an alt rock band, not knowing anything about punk music, and wearing like a Crass shirt on stage.
Right. Yeah. Like it's like, politically, but it's also kind of like the politics of The Decline are so stupid. And I mean, I don't know what you think the word greediocracy means to you. That's kind of what I've been asking everyone too, because it's just like such a fucked up, funny word. But at the same time, to use internet parlance, I still think it's pretty based, the lyrics. Like it's kind of...
Father, what have I done? I mean, that's like the best thing ever. Exactly. I like play that for people all the time. Like I'm not one to like just like play music and then stare people in the face singing it and being like, wait for this line. But I do that with that whole part of the song.
It's so good. So I wanted to ask you, like, because, well, I don't know if this was announced last time you were here, but when you've been working with you've been working with two pillars of culture, Young Thug on one side and Drew rapping for Safety on the other side.
And Dr. Seuss on the third side.
That's what I was going to say. The third side of the great Nate triangle is Dr. Seuss. So you've written all the songs for... Were you hired because your last name rhymes with Seuss? Is that... I thought about
that, but no.
Okay. So I was just kind of curious if that was maybe why. But so you've written all the music for a Dr. Seuss Broadway musical that's coming out next year.
Is it coming? I guess it's coming out next year. It's going to like regional theater. That's what I guess all shows do, is they go to like a lot of, to like we're going to San Diego, La Jolla Playhouse, which I think I've heard is a really big deal. So that's cool. So we go there for like a couple of months and work out all the kinks, and people see it live, and then it goes to Broadway.
Have you seen the American Idiot musical, or maybe Broadway Idiot, the doc about the musical?
No, but I saw the musical, so I have no interest in anything else about it.
You know how Billy Joe Armstrong like sometimes would show up and be, what's his name, Saint Jimmy or whatever? Are you going to do that in Dr. Seuss? You'll be like the Cat in the Hat for some... No. Every time you're like in New York, people are like, oh, maybe Nate will be there, and then you'll show up as one of the Who's, or I don't remember.
No,
be the Grinch.
No. Every time we do like a run through, like with actors and stuff like that, they'll be like, oh man, you got to get up there. You got to sing. You got to do one song. And it's like, there is nothing in the world that's going to make me come up and sing these songs. It's not. And I think that they're as good of songs as Broadway could possibly have.
Are any of the songs out yet? Like, or could you sing us one? Is that allowed?
Yeah. I mean, it's allowed. I'm not going to do it though.
Okay, but you've written. What I'm saying is you've written a musical, basically. You're basically Dr. Roos over here writing this musical. But Muse, is it called Seussical? Or is that a different thing?
It was called. The Seussical was something, and it flopped terribly on Broadway.
So what's this one called? Just Seuss? Like it's like a gritty reboot?
We're going through that type of stage right now where it doesn't have a title.
Oh shit!
But it's based on the Dr. Seuss book, If I Ran the Circus, which is kind of a deep cut, but was, I guess, his favorite, and he always wanted to take it further in that regard. So this was. It's a good book too. My kids love it.
So you've written a musical, and I'm just kind of curious. Like, do you view NOFX The Decline as being a piece of musical theater, or like the way that some of the counter melodies or different themes emerge and reemerge? Does that happen in the Seuss one, or I'm just kind of trying to draw parallels between these two?
You know what's crazy is it does, but not when I write it. Back in the day, that used to be my thing. Like when I would make an album, is I'd always try and do figure out a way to ham it up and do it all like kind of Broadway-y, and make it clever and stuff like that. And I guarantee you, The Decline, at least subconsciously, played a huge part in that. But now you have someone called a musical director, and they put all like the orchestration and the music to like these songs that are just piano and vocal.
Okay, so that wasn't really your thing.
No. So they're the ones that like go into that mode where they're like, oh, I'm going to do like a reprise right here and this and that. And it's like, whoa, cool. I'm just writing like a verse, a chorus, and stuff like that.
Is that how you pronounce it? Reprise? I've always said reprise, and now I've just admitted that on mic, and now that's another thing people can yell at me for.
I don't know. We both might be wrong.
Fuck. Okay, so but like, do you think that since now that you're like in the world, like if the Dr. Seuss one pops off, as we know it is gonna fucking kill it, it's another home run for the Roos Man. But once you have Broadway clout, do you think we can make a NOFX The Decline musical?
There's no way that they haven't already tried that.
Yeah,
didn't Fat Mike try and do a musical? Haven't you guys ever like covered like the Fat Mike
honestly,
musical?
We've like tried so hard to avoid talking about Fat Mike, to be honest. But The Decline is just like so good that we have to at this point. Yes,
and by the way, I agree with you wholeheartedly on everything you're saying. Everything,
even about Travis Barker's drumming just being a bit much.
I do not like when you bring that up. It makes me very, very angry.
So, I don't know. Like, what else do you have to say about The Decline? You wanted to be here so fucking badly.
Yeah, what do you mean? You're not like, you asked me about The Decline.
What is it?
It is. My friends and I have covered it like live, just sitting with an acoustic guitar, like.
Oh yeah, you said like, that was something. That was something you said to me that you think you can. Not that I'm going to make you do it. You won't even sing a Dr. Seuss song for me, but I'm not going to make you do it. But you said that you can just like sing the whole thing, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because that was something we were trying to get people to do, but they wouldn't do it. It was like a hum the Decline challenge. Like, how much can you remember without revisiting? I think all of us feel like we can do it, although I believe that you probably could. Because like, do you ever forget lyrics when you're performing, or is that not really an issue?
No, it actually happens as you get older. I mean, I don't really count because I play like once every 3 years. So I definitely have to like re-listen to everything to remember everything. But back in the day when you're on tour and stuff like that, no, you like, I probably forgot lyrics. Like out of the thousands of shows I played, I probably maybe forgot lyrics like twice.
Fuck. But so is it because you're rehearsing, or you just like have a brain that remembers? Like, can you remember all the lyrics of The Decline? How does it start?
Yeah, for sure.
What are the first lyrics?
Where are all the stupid people from? And how'd they get to be so dumb?
Those two lines are, I think, perfect. Like, that's just the thing for me about the lyrics of The Decline is like half of them are so stupid and sound like free punk lyrics, and then the other half are like absolutely perfect poetry.
You know what? I agree. I was a little harsh in my the way that I talked about it earlier. It's just that I remember hearing like, Bat Mike try and take on like propagandies like politics.
Right.
And like being like, oh, like you guys want everything paid for or something, like just really just so just like, okay.
Well,
like you don't have to say you're punk. You don't have to wear like the silly clothes, but if you want to make this music, that'd be amazing.
Right.
Do you know what, like, is that wrong? Is that wrong to say? Like, cause I guess
I don't think
then
so.
you're talking about what's punk and what's not, but it's just like, just don't use the word punk and make this music and stuff. But you know, then you can be better and no one's going to care.
But that's the other thing that you must see on a day-to-day basis. Cause I see it just from, you know, following TMZ or whatever, is like everyone calls everything punk now.
Oh no, I had no idea. I don't pay attention to anything other than like,
you know, I mean, and I think it's great. For example, Young Thug calling his album punk, I think is wonderful. But Adele recently said that she thinks her career has been really punk, how she releases albums. Or like, you know, Kourtney Kardashian is, I think, involved in the punk scene now, whether you like it or not. And it's kind of this beautiful tension. I think the word punk is kind of, it's like how there's so many different words for snow or whatever, or love, or I can't remember what I'm referencing, but
listen, it's your job to, like, I guess, make this, tie all this stuff together. I haven't thought about it at all. I just think that it's silly that Fat Mike.
Well, Fat Mike likes to talk a lot of shit, and then yeah, you're right. It's like, what are you talking about, Fat Mike? And also, he wrote The Decline, and then he's like been the hardest Hillary stan of anyone in the punk world.
All that type of stuff. Like and then just like you know, I'm a propaganda guy, so it's just it's always going to be hard. Their cliche lyrics like have like resonated with me my whole entire life. So and definitely Father, What Have I Done? Like that whole line is just phenomenal, and the chords are amazing, and it's beautiful and haunting, and so
but then there's I wish I had a shilling for every senseless killing.
I'd buy the government. I know I think I'm probably in the right key of the song too. America's for sale, and you can get a good deal on it. And make a healthy profit, or maybe ding, ding, ding,
he gets so like
with assumption that a million people are smart. Yeah, I know the whole thing.
You do. It's perfect. But I mean, yeah, like the shilling part. Come on, give that a rewrite, you guys. Let's not talk about shillings in this. Just so we can rhyme with killing.
It's also very like you know what? Now that I'm thinking about these lyrics, I am kind of into them, but it's so NOFX to be like, it's hard to enjoy yourself while bleeding out the ass.
It's
just like cool. Let's do this really, really like, it has so many good parts, a lot of cliche parts, but the good parts are really, really, really good.
Yeah.
And thoughtful, and then you're just like throwing in something like that.
I know, it's true, but I guess it wouldn't be NOFX without that kind of push and pull. If it was all good, it would we might not remember it so well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's almost like it, like those parts like that, it like turns into a Weird Al song. Basically, it's like a woke Weird Al song.
Yeah, and his voice sounds like Weird Al, so it makes sense.
How come no one ever talks about how Weird Al has the ultimate pop punk voice?
Like 100%. I guarantee you that's how whoever made all those 90s pop punk albums, that's like whoever was recording the vocals learned their like vocal chain from like
Bad
Weird Al albums.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like those all sound like it, like whoever did like the Offspring, all that shit, like it all sounds, it's the same vocal chain.
Have you ever hung out with Weird Al?
No.
They're not as cool as I thought, I guess.
I'm not into Weird Al.
You're not?
No, but I've like muso friends who like just eat it up.
Yeah, I guess it was either all or nothing for the Weird Al stands at the time. I'm trying to think what else about The Decline we've been kind of hammering home. Mostly like greediocracy, I think, is the stupidest word ever made.
Well, yeah, because he's using two completely different words and then throwing greed in there. So he's thinking of democracy, but then he's saying mediocrity. Mm-hmm. So he's merging democracy and mediocrity to mediocrity.
Which I think that word does exist. Mediocricy, I think, does it. Someone pointed out. There's
no way mediocrity exists.
Somebody pointed it out, but I don't think it's reference. I don't think it's like in terms of a political system. I think it's some sort of other adjective. But I agree. Like, it's just, I personally think that it all comes, sort of greediocracy is the black hole at the center of the song that represents the song as a whole in terms of its kind of.
Oh, dude, mediocrity is legit.
Yeah, but I don't think that's what I think they were just trying to say democracy and combine it with greed. I don't think they were thinking of mediocrity.
That's what I know. That's what I'm trying to say too. I totally agree with you. Whereas actually mediocrity would have worked so well because it's a dominant class consisting of mediocre people, or a system in which mediocrity is rewarded. So maybe he's saying a system in which greed is rewarded.
Yeah, I mean, it's so clumsy. I think it really represents kind of the teen brain behind the song. But isn't it weird also that not only is this a pre 9/11 song, but it's also like this came out in the Bill Clinton era.
Oh, this did? I would have thought for sure that this was a George Bush era song.
Yeah, no, it's unless we don't know what we're talking about, but it's from 1999, right? Like, when did Bill Clinton leave? Maybe
I guess 1999.
Oh, yeah, 2001. He was there till 2001. So this is from Clinton era fully.
This is, I mean, you know what's crazy is these like silly little lyrics, they still stand completely.
Exactly. I know.
But you are not allowed to talk about it.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to get some of that clout, some of that Canadian leftist clout, you know?
Well, I guess Canadian leftism is just talking about America's politics.
It is. I mean, unless you want me to talk about like drugs and what are and aren't considered drugs and stuff like that, but you keep that to the DM, maybe.
Everything's a drug.
That's true.
Yeah. I know you're a big fan of I'm just going to go completely off topic here. Mm-hmm. Is that okay?
I mean, it would be the first time, but since we've got a Grammy winner.
Am I going to get not invited back on again? Well, you're going to ban me for another year?
You can invite yourself on whenever you want. I keep telling you this.
I won't. Have you heard of kin euphorics?
No. I'm looking it up.
I know, well, because I know you're a big spritz
my God.
guy.
Yes. Actually, while we were doing Exclusive, I just had called Spritz-ish. It's a non-alcoholic spritz. I've literally just finished one like 5 minutes ago. Ooh,
this was in my fridge, which I feel like someone just sent it to my wife, and it is just I'm going to throw it away.
What? Yeah.
Would you like me to save it and bring it to Montreal when I'm there in February?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
You're admitting that you're coming to Montreal in February? I hope that some certain people aren't listening to this. But
who? I'm coming to Montreal in February.
We're gonna hang out.
We're gonna hang out for a long time.
Nate and I are gonna hang out I'm gonna actually try to get hired on Nate's next project. I think it's kind of, I'm treating it like it's a job interview. Really, I want to be like when you inevitably get a reality show about you, like VH1 style one. I want to be the guy who just like wears a snapback hat and like is always in your fridge with shorts.
Yeah, those guys rock.
Long shorts. I want to be
those
that
guys
guy.
rock.
I know that
I
know that you want Drew to be that guy for you, but I think I could do better, to be honest.
Well, you could absolutely do better. You could do a lot more normal. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Like I don't need that kind of weirdness.
I mean, none of us have really seen Drew's lower half of his body either. We don't know what it's like down there, so
it's true.
It could be scary. But Nate, I mean, we've talked about the decline at length. Is this what you wanted? Is this what you were so desperate for?
Yeah. Let me just see if there's anything else I want to talk about it.
Or if you want to start any beef with someone, like last time we accidentally started beef between you and Damien from Fucked Up, and then you had to go on his show and clear the air. Like, do you want to? Is there another show that you want to start beef with right now? And kind of
that's how I get invited, is by dissing podcasts, and then squashing the beef on the podcasts.
Where did the term "squash the beef" come from? It's so disgusting. It doesn't even.
I never even thought about it. Now I'm visualizing it, and it's wild.
It's so weird. Like, are you making a smash burger? Is that what you're doing?
I make smash burgers very frequently.
I know that. I know. We can go to Lola Rosa when you're here. Well, you probably don't like vegetarian food. They got a great veggie.
I do. I love vegetarian.
Got a great veggie smash burger.
I'm into everything. Can we talk about the down by the creek part?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read it to you, and you're going to interpret it to me. Because one thing that I do not do well is interpret anything. I interpret it, but like I just internalize it. So it actually like probably means like when he's like, "There's the carcass of my brother William." I'm like, I know someone named Will
Smith.
Father, what have I done? I took that 22, a gift to me from you, to bed with me each night, kept it clean, polished it well. Cherished every cartridge, every shell. That's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, there's some sort of thing. When we got to that part on the main episode, it's like the Rifleman's Creed or something that they're referencing. It's like some sort of weird NRA prayer that they say to their guns that they're referencing.
You know what? Now that I'm reading all of this, this all like very actually even I can understand that.
Yeah, I think so. It's just that the next part, even though it is kind of. It's a bit more vague. It's very poetic and vibey. Down by the park, under stone, under pine.
But the melody is ridiculous.
It's so
and
good.
Then that part that goes behind it is just like so phenomenal.
It's unbelievable. I think all the whoas and all the na-na-nas are so earned in this song. And they're such an overused trope, but they've killed it in this song.
Absolutely. Who's the one singing all that stuff? What's his name? Eric Melvin?
Yeah, we've been having some issues with that, with remembering their names too. We just have completely stopped doing any research when we do this show. It's a purely vibe-based music podcast, so I can't remember. But I think it's either him or I think because we just watched the
El Jefe.
Yeah, I think it might be El Jefe. Because have you seen? I know you don't watch things, but I am going to send this to you and force you to watch it. Baz and his orchestra.
Yes, I hate it.
But did you see them do it with NOFX together?
Yes.
You hated that? Oh, it's so good.
Ironically,
I don't know, Nate. That's what you know that I don't know anymore. You know that I have no idea. But
that's true.
You tell me why you hated it, because that's great. We just watched it right now on the show, so I'm curious what you thought.
It's just like I remember being that. Like I used to hire like orchestras and shit like that to do songs like live, and it's a mess for the sound people first and foremost. It's a mess for the people listening. It's a pain in the ass for the orchestra members to play this shit that they don't even fucking know. And this just makes the artists feel good having like something like strings up on stage. And that's really it. So when I heard that, I was just like, well, this sounds like just an absolute disaster.
That is amazing because
sounds like they rehearsed it at sound check that day. And I've done that. And I've made those mistakes, those pitfalls before. They should know better.
This is why we needed you, because we started the Decline-cember with Morrow from Godspeed You Black Emperor, and he was complaining that people are always offering Godspeed You Black Emperor like $100,000 to do a performance with a symphony, and he's always like, "Nah, fuck that. We're a rock band. We don't want to do that shit." And I was like, "What's wrong with you?" And now we've come full circle. We got Nate Ruess agreeing. I mean, that's what we need to do. Is you need to do something with Godspeed now. I think is the next big move, because it's all come full circle.
I've done something with Godsmack.
Is that true?
It is.
What did you do with them?
One time I got asked to sing Mike McCready from Pearl Jam, who Pearl Jam is one of my favorite bands of all time. I'm sure you don't like them.
That's true.
And the bass player and the bass player from Dave Matthews, and they do like a cover band where they make like a bunch of money at like corporate gigs, or I don't even know what it's for. I don't even think it's for that. I think it's just for the fun of it.
And the first result, it's announcing this collaboration you did, and it's on dsnyder.com.
Yeah, because D. Snyder was there too.
Incredible.
It was so much fun, but it was also stressful because I picked out the set list and I don't think anyone was feeling like I was doing like ELO songs and like Lita Ford. And I just think that they like, I was like, oh, the crowd's going to love this shit. And it just proves that I don't know what people like.
Yeah, you're too pretentious, I think.
I don't think Lita Ford Kiss Me Once is pretentious.
That's incredible. Oh my God. I'm trying to find a picture of you all hanging out together.
Yeah, so we rehearsed for a couple of days and we did it. And the drummer from the lead singer from Godsmack came and did, I bet you can't guess what band song he covered.
I have no clue.
Alice in Chains.
That tracks. That makes sense.
I mean, it tracks like you couldn't
so
even
it almost
imagine.
Tracks too well.
It tracks too much. It'd be like if I got up on stage and did like a Jimmy Eat World song or a Weezer song.
Oh, now I'm on a different D. Snyder website about this. It's called House of Hair online.com.
He was a wonderful guy when he showed up.
You're way too gentle to be with all these rockers, I think.
Listen, I don't think so, but was I a little bit intimidated? And I wasn't smoking at the time, according to my wife's knowledge. And I just sat at rehearsals. I just sat in a corner and just faded cigarette after cigarette.
Amazing. That's so cool. Wow. It's Dr. Seuss, it's D. Snyder. It's, by the way, we had a great time, but I do like, they didn't, I was like, oh, these guys are going to ask me to do this all the time. And like, fuck, that's so cool. Like, I love like just being up here and singing cover songs with like Mike McCready. How wild is that? And they're such crazy good musicians and blah, blah. And I was like, they're going to call me back. They didn't call me back until like a few months ago. And they were just like, hey, can you like fill in on a pinch? And I was like, no. Maybe they delete their text messages after every day, and that's why.
Well, okay.
Or maybe you deleted the text message from Mike McCready.
What does this? Oh, yeah. So that's how I met the drummer. I keep saying the drummer, but the singer of Godsmack, because he also drummed on a couple songs, and he's a fucking sick drummer.
Oh my God, Nate, it's too much fun. We could just go all day, and we probably will, but I think let's leave it here. I mean, obviously everyone should check out Young Thug Punk. Everyone should check out the Dr. Seuss musical when they can. What else do you want to plug right now? Claynecast? Is that it? What day does Claynecast come out? No one knows.
I think Claynecast comes out on Fridays. Sometimes Drew releases it on Thursdays. If he's got anything to edit, then he just bitches all week.
Sounds about right. Sounds about
right.
Have
Have you guys done an episode of Sound Wars?
No, what Sound Wars?
What was this? The volume war? What was the thing you guys used to do on 155?
Yeah, the volume wars, the loudness wars.
What loudness wars?
Yeah, we haven't done one of those in a long time. We kind of ended it and then turned it into Global because too many 155 listeners were. There's quite a few listeners who would probably prefer the 155 vibe rather than the loudness wars vibe. I think.
Are they going to be mad about this conversation?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Okay. Am I a poser? Yes or no? Fan poll.
I think not. I think you're so not a poser. I mean, you're not. What are you posing, right? Like there's no posing going on. You're a poster.
I'm posing as a poster or a leftist.
That's
for sure.
True. I guess you're a poser.
Yeah.
But in terms of like being a punk poser, I mean, you're on an album called Punk. What more do they want from you?
That's true. And I like to think that I'm just sincere in general. You know me.
I do. I know. I do know you, and that's why I wanted to have you back on the show a long time ago. And it just never.
I had to ask to be back on, but thank you.